Okay, Sairam everyone. We will do a revision of some of the work which we did the past 2 weeks. I'll quickly run through. I hope if I'm too fast, please stop me. We'll look at the vowels. As I mentioned, this is a tabulation of all the vowels. Vowels are called swara in Sanskrit. Swara means they on their own are able to exist and also express themselves. Swa means self. Ra means energy or fire. So they are self-effulgent. Okay, that's swaras. These are also called asprishta. That means no mouth part actually comes into contact while we utter these sounds. Okay. As I had mentioned, if you look at the left-hand side column, they are okay. Sorry. So, as I was mentioning, the short vowels are a, e, u, r, and l. They are produced at different parts of the mouth. A is at the back of the mouth, throat. E is produced with at the palate, with the tongue actually parallel to the palate. U is produced with the lips. You bring the lips together and form the U sound, a round sound. And R is with the tongue pointing upwards towards the top of the house, cerebral it's called. R. Le is with the tongue sort of pointing towards the teeth, but not touching it. And those are the 5 basic short vowels in Sanskrit. A, E, U, R, and Le. There are longer versions of them where the time period is more or less double. A, E, U, R, and L. Okay. Then we have what are called the diphthongs, or a combination of simple vowels called A, I, O, and OU. Then there are 2 special vowels. One is called the anuswara, which is the dot at the top. It's produced within the nasal cavity. So it's generally, for the purposes of referring to it. Then we have what's called visarga, which is like a colon. There are 2 dots on top of each other, and generally it's an echo of the vowel which we produce. If it's a, if it follows a, it's the sound we produce ha, and e means he, and so on. We will look at them in detail in the coming days. Okay, how the visarga changes and so on. I think for the time being, this is good enough. So then we looked at the vyanjanas or consonants. The consonants are nothing but sounds which we block and produce. So for example, we stop the sound and then release it. That is what is called a consonant, and they provide color to the speech itself. We had looked at what are called vargiya or class of consonants. The first one which we looked at was ka varga. Last week we looked at them. Ka varga, the class of ka. There are 4 sounds which are produced within the mouth, and one at the end which is produced in the nasal cavity, which is called anunasika or nasal. Okay, we'll go through those sounds. Ka, ka. So the difference between ka and ka is one is called unaspirated. That means you don't push too much air. The second one is pronounced with a puff of air. So ka, ka. Then we come to the third consonant in the ka varga, which is ga. Ga is similar to the ka, but it is just that we make it a bit more softer and produce a bit more sound, bass sound. Ka and ga. So the third and fourth, the difference between them is again similar to the first and second. The ga, the third ga is pronounced without too much air, and the fourth one is produced with a puff of air. Ga and ga. And the last one, the fifth one in that class or varga is nga, which is produced in the nasal cavity, keeping the mouth in the same position as you keep for any of these. Okay, ka, nga. Okay, so we'll go through all five of them. Ka, ka, ga, ka, and nga. Okay, so the mouth, just watch, observe the mouth position, and then you will get it right. Okay, we'll again go through it once more. Ka, ka, ga, ga, and nga.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go to the next one. We looked at writing. I think you all may have practiced. Maybe I will do a separate session with writing, because I am not so concerned that you should learn to write, but I think writing will make you familiar with the letters, because I don't think in terms of application you will be writing a lot. And that's what I hope, majority of you at least. Some of you are really interested may write, may learn to write more and more. I have provided the practice sheets. You can practice, and in the last, after the 1 hour talk, we can have a conversation if anyone wants any clarification on how these letters are written. I will again go through them once more. Ka, kha, ga, gha, and nga. Okay. Then we go to the second class of consonants called the cha varga. So that is produced in the palatal space, where the tongue actually, as you can see, is parallel to the top roof of the mouth, and it stops the air by coming, placing the tongue which is parallel, and it touches the palate of the mouth and produces the sound somewhere near the soft palate, back side of the middle, just below, behind the middle of the mouth. Cha and cha. Again, the same concept. The second one is called aspirated with the puff of air. Cha, cha. Then the third one is ja, which is similar to cha, but we produce a bit more bass sound called ja, cha, cha, and ja. The fourth one is with a puff of air again, called aspirated, ja. And the last one is the nasal sound with the same tongue position. It produces a nasal sound called nya.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go through them. Cha, cha, ja, ja, nya. Once again, cha, cha, ja, ja, nya. Okay, I think it should be okay. If there are questions you have, you can stop and ask me. But I will go to the, so again, written form, you may have practiced. If you all want me to go through, I can do it again. But for now, I will move on. Cha, cha, ja, ja, and nya. If you all don't remember the shapes of the letters, do not worry so much, because once we start going through words, you will become more and more familiar with the letters which you will encounter more frequently. Not all of them you will encounter very often. So I don't want you to be so worried that you cannot recognize any letters quickly. As long as you understand the concepts, we should be okay for now. Okay, Saira. Then we go to the third varga or class of sounds, called tha varga. Here, as you can see, the tongue is pointing upwards, okay, towards the top of the head. Again, the same concept, ta, ta, da, tha, na, na. Again, we'll go through ta, ta, da, da, and na. I had shown you how they're written. It's a bit more bigger, so you all can see. Ta, ta, da, da, and na. Please make a note of the transliteration. Wherever this varga is transliterated in Roman letters, there's a dot at the bottom of the T and the D and the N. Okay, that means when you see the dot, always you have to curl your tongue up and point it up. Okay, you will find all the letters when we go through, you will find it's the same pattern which has been used. Ta, ta, da, da, and na. We're going to the fourth varga, which is the tha varga, which is dental. As you can see, the tongue is sort of touching the top of the teeth, behind the teeth. Okay, tha. I think all of you must be familiar with it, but the pronunciation of how the air is produced, I think we'll practice. Ta, tha, da, tha, and na. Once again, ta, tha, da, tha, and na. Just a bit more focused on the letters. They are a bit more visible. Ta, tha, da, tha, and na. As you can see, the transliteration, the T's and the D's and the N does not have any dot at the bottom. So that's the difference between the previous varga, ta varga, and the tha varga. Okay. So as long as you are clear about it, so if you see a dot, it right away the tongue goes up and you will say tha instead of tha. Here it will be tha if there's a dot at the bottom, if you're looking at the transliteration. Now we will go to the fifth class, which is the pa varga, which is basically use of the lips. Okay, labial as it's said in English, or aushtav as it is said in Sanskrit. Okay, again the same thing. Pa, pa, ba, bha, and ma. Pa, pa, ba, bha, and ma. Okay. So those are the 5 vargas we went through. And now I think we had covered these in great detail in the last class. So we are going to go to the next set of consonants, which we did not look at last week. Okay, the class is called Antastha. Okay, Antastha means somewhere in between. Something which is in between is called Antastha. That means the position is such, the sound production is neither swaras, vowels, or consonants. It is somewhere in between. That's what basically this means, antastha. It also means, antastha also means it is inside. Anta also can mean inside. So these sounds are very, very powerful sounds, because it is believed that many of the chakras in our body are made of these sounds. Ya, I will go through them. Ya, which is palatal, which is similar to E or Cha, where the tongue is sort of parallel to the top of the mouth, the roof of the mouth. Yeah. The next one is cerebral, where the tongue is pointed upwards. It's called Ra. The third one is dental, which is your tongue touches the top of the teeth behind it. It is La, La, La. The last one is labial, with the lips you produced. Wa. Okay, it's closer to, I think, the W sound in English. Some people also use the teeth also, labial or whatever, va. But I would say it is va is more scientific, I think, from Sanskrit perspective. So W is the equivalent sound produced in English, where you bring the, like oo, wa. How do you say oo? The same way you say wa. Okay. So again, go through ya, ra, la, va. So that, there is correlation between what they say is the Mooladhara chakra, Swadhisthana, and so on, are supposed to be based on these sounds. Okay. The ya is supposed to be heart, ra is supposed to be in the stomach. Okay, la is supposed to be Mooladhara, and va is supposed to be the other sounds which produce energy as the core of each of those chakras is mentioned. Okay. Yam, ram, lam, vam. Those are called bijaksharas. They're considered very, very potent mantras themselves. Okay. We'll take a look at how to write them. 1 second, I am trying to. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing this, and I'm going to share a whiteboard, and then we will okay, so we are going to write ya. Sorry, I don't have a black whiteboard behind me. Sorry if it is bad. Very, very sorry. 1 second. Today I had to relocate. I'm not at my home, so that's why it's a bit of a problem, but I will write again. So it's like, I think the way you wrote tha, it is just that you more or less write a 2 if you want to, and with okay, this is yeah. So usually you will have something like this. Okay, so that is yeah. The next one is ra. I think you all may have be familiar with it because you do the same thing for the second letter ka in the ka varga. Actually, half of that is this sign. Okay, this is ra. Sorry. Okay, so the yeah, ra. The next one is va. I think you must have come across something similar to this, which is the pa sound, the third letter in the pa varga. The only difference is, sorry, 1 second. I don't know whether it's too, is it visible better? I'm trying something. So this is va, okay. Which is similar to ba, which I will write here. The only difference is you draw a diagonal line for the ba. Okay, sometimes you can tend to, mix them up, but just this is the va, okay. Sorry, I'm very sorry about next week. It should be much better. I won't run into this problem. Okay, the next one is your la. I'm just going to erase if it's okay with you all. So it is similar to this, how you write I, but there's slight difference. Okay, so this is the la. For l, actually, you write something like this. So, sorry. So the l, you write something like this. So this is the vowel l. Okay. So the la, just make note of this. Usually you will not come across this l that often. So if you're familiar with the la, that should be good enough. Okay. So those were the 4 letters which I just wanted you to go. I'm just going to share again. So again, going through the same thing here. So as you can see, you draw here like this, and the line above. Ra is, you bring it down and then a diagonal one. It's Ra. La, there's many different ways of writing, but here they have shown it as, but I would rather you write a straight line here, La, and the last one is Va. Okay, which is similar to, it's more or less like a D, which is with an extension down. Okay, if that makes it simple for you all. Okay. If you're okay, I am going to go to so the next one, next set of letters are called Ushma, or aspirates. All of you must have come across them. The first one is again a palatal sound, which is Sha. Okay. Where the tongue actually is parallel to the roof of the mouth and you produce the word Sha. That Sha is usually used in the name Shiva. Shiva. Okay, where you bring the tongue parallel to the roof of the mouth and say Sha. Okay. Some regional variations are there, especially among the Telugu speaking people. They would say Sa, Sa. It's the same, the tongue position is the same, but the sound which they produce is slightly different because it has to be Sa. That's the way they pronounce, but as long as you are clear about the tongue placement, you will be fine. Okay. The next sound which we are going to look at is called the cerebral Sha. Okay, which is used in the word Vishnu. Okay, the tongue actually again is curved up just the way you would curve it up for Ra. Okay, many people do not differentiate between these two, but for the right vibration of the sound, your tongue should be bent and pointing upwards. For the second one, it's called Sha. Okay. For example, there's a word called She, Sha, Adishesha. Okay. There, this is the She. This one is Sha. She, Sha. She, Sha. So I think even Shanmukha, you know, Shanmukhanatha, you know, where 6 Mukha, you know, 6 Arumukhan and Tamil, they will say 6 is Shan. So there you use this one. Okay. Sha. It requires a little bit of practice because tongue may not be used to it. Many people just say this SH for both they will use, but that is not the way it is actually pronounced. Okay. This is Sha. This is Sha. 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 So you can practice at home. Sha. 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 Okay. If you look at the transliteration, for this one, sir, there is an accent mark at the top. Okay, which also will remind you how the tongue should be. Sha. And here the S has a dot below. I say mention wherever there's a dot below, your tongue should always curl up and point upwards. Sha. So again, we'll go through Sha. Sha. This one is a bit difficult, but I think it should, you know, we should practice. Sorry, I seem to have, hello, can you hear me now? Okay, I'm very sorry. Okay, very sorry. We are back again. Can you hear me, brother Tasan?
Yes, yes.
Yes, we can hear.
Sorry. So we were going through the sh and sh, okay? Sh. Okay. Sh and sh. Sh, sh. The next one, the third one is called the sa, which is dental. The tongue, tip of the tongue actually points to the, not point, it touches the space behind the teeth, which is the same as the, okay, or la, all of them, where you touch the tongue above, behind the teeth. So they're the dental. Sir, I think which all of us are familiar, which is the normal S sound, which gets produced in any most languages. The only difference is for the first two, the sh and sh. The second one especially is not pronounced in most languages, and that is something which you have to pay attention to and practice. That's what I would say. The last one is called Mahaprana. It is just air which produces sound, which is produced at the throat, okay, which is the ha, H sound, which all of you are familiar. That is the last consonant, which is ha, okay. I think all of you are generally familiar, so I will not, I'm just going to show you how they are written. So again, going through the sounds, this is the palatal sha, which the tongue is actually parallel to the roof of the mouth, which is normally the SH sound which we all produce. Sha, 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 the tongue is curved up. Then sa, the last one is ha, okay. As you can see, this is also written like a 2. I will point it out to you how, hopefully I do a better job this time with the whiteboard. And this, I think you may have come across, the sound pa is similar to that. The difference is that there's a dash, a diagonal dash. And as you can see, the dot at the bottom means you have to curl up the tongue. Sha. This is the dental. The third one is sa, and the last one is ha. The arrows are there. I think I've given you the material for you to practice. It's covered, but I'm just going to do a whiteboard and show you how it is. Okay, so we are going to write the letter sha, the first one, the palatal sha. Something like that. A line next to it. Okay, I will write again. You can say it's something like number 2 you write. It's similar to the sound ra also. 1 second. Sairam, everyone, I'm very sorry again. Can you hear me?
brother.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
doing my phone, but it is dropping the internet connection for some reason. I'm very, very sorry. I did not expect this would be a problem. I really apologize to everyone. So we were looking at the second sha, which I'll write, which is like pa actually, which you may have seen. It is just that you draw a line this way. Sha, sha, the tongue is pointed up, and I will write it again. Okay, this is the second sha, where which you pronounce by curving the tongue up and saying sha. Okay. The next one is the simpler sa, which all of you are familiar with the sound. Sa, where the tongue actually touches the back of the teeth and you pronounce the word sa. Okay. I will draw the letter here. So which is similar to how you draw the ra. Then you draw a line from the center. Then you draw a line, vertical line next to it. So that is sa. Okay, I will draw again. So which is similar to how the ra sound was written a little while ago. You draw a line, you go up, you come down. That is the sound sa. Okay. I'm going to erase them if it's okay. At least I will erase this one. I'm going to write the letter ha. Sorry again for the interruption. I will erase this. Okay, again. Ha. Okay, this is the letter ha. You can take a look at the practice sheets and the arrow marks which I had provided. I hope I will repeat it next week also if for everyone's benefit. Today was not the best day. So this is the letter ha. Okay, I'm just going to go back to sharing again my screen. Okay, so you can see how the sha, sa, and her are written. You can practice. I am sure some of you may be capable of writing it better than how I have written. I don't want you to worry too much about it. Just understand there are three shas, sha, and sa, and the last one is ha. I think we will be going through these letters as we go and read sounds, words, and at that time you will have an opportunity to revise and relook at them, and I'm sure then you will not be so confused. Okay, the familiarity will come with time. Thank you. So this is the one snapshot. All vowels and consonants are here. Again, I will just take you through all of them. I think if you all can print this and use, that will be a good reference material always for you. Okay, so these are the vowels. I think we have gone through them again today. I'll quickly run through them. The short vowels are a, I, U, R, and L. Then there's a longer version of those vowels, which is a, I, U, R, and L. Then we have the diphthong versions, which is A, I, O, and Au. Okay. And then we have the Anuswara and Visarga, which is and Ah. Okay. So these are the 16 vowels which make up the supposed to be in the throat chakra of each of us. Okay. There are 16 petals in that throat chakra in the yogic philosophy point of view. Then the consonants come. So these are the 5 vargas or classes of consonants, which we looked at: ka, kha, ga, gha, and nga, which is produced at the throat level. Then the next one is the palatal: cha, cha, ja, ja, and nya. Then the third one is cerebral: ta, ta, da, da, and na. The tongue is always pointed up for the third one. Then the dental, which is touching the back of the teeth: ta, ta, da, da, and na. And the last one is the pa varga: pa, pa, ba, bha, and ma. Okay, these are what are called the vargiya, or the classes of consonants, which are the 5 different points in the mouth cavity. The sounds are produced. Okay, so as you can, there are 25 of them. Then we have what are called the semi vowels, or the antastha. We are between vowels and consonants, which is ya, ra, la, and va, or va. Okay, ya, ra, la, va. I think most of you all are familiar. Most Indian languages have these sounds, so it should not be a problem. Then the sibilants, or the ushma as they're called, the 3 sa sounds: sha, which is the palatal with the tongue parallel to the mouth cavity, roof of the mouth. Then the sha, the curved tongue pointing up, sh, and the last one is the dental, which the tongue touching the back of the teeth, s, s. Okay, the last one is the aspirate or the ha. Okay, so as you can see, the 25 plus 4, 29 plus 4, 33 consonants, simple consonants. Okay, so the 33 plus the 16 form 49 basic alphabet in Sanskrit. Okay, and to this actually there are supposed to be 51 sounds. I will touch upon them a little later, which are considered the 51 sounds which vibrate in our body. Okay, I will just for your information, the 50th one is called ksha, ksha, and the last one, the 51 is om. Okay, those are supposed to be the sounds which actually make our body function, those vibrations. 51, you may think, are these only one? Even in the Tamil yogic literature, if anyone reads, just for information, there are many Tamilians or Tamils in this class. If you read Tirumular's Tirumandram, I think it's a 954 or something like that. There's a verse which basically says there are 51 aksharas in our body. But that's what he himself has said, even though it's written in Tamil. So the sounds are common to all the languages because they're universal in their nature. Okay. So I just wanted to highlight those. We'll just continue with, I had prepared some material, so I thought I will just go through a couple of more slides before I address any questions anyone may have. I just wanted you to look at some similar looking consonants. I just produced a few which I thought people generally confuse. As you can see, the ba and the va, the difference is the line. Okay. Sh and pa, the difference is again the line. Then tha and ya. Okay, the front part does not touch the line. Okay, and there's usually a circulation. That's tha. That's a second sound, second consonant in the tha varga, and ya. They are similar. Then dha, which is the fourth letter consonant in the tha varga, and the fourth consonant in the ka varga, they look similar. This is dha and this is ga. Okay. Then this ka and ra and va all look similar. Say this letter, which has two parts, has the first piece looking like the ra and the second part looking like the va. Okay, but I just wanted to point out that the ka is very, very close. You can see the bottom part of the ra sort of coming below the second part of the letter. Okay, here I've written ra va. Okay, here it is ka. It is just the space between them which makes you distinguish both this. In this case, it's two letters. Okay, ra va. In this case, it's ka. I thought I will just highlight, take a look at them. Generally, people tend to confuse when they come across this one, especially whether it's ka or whether it's rava. You know, that's the confusion which people find. I've just for information purposes I have put, but when we go over the words and letters, things should become a bit more clearer. I will just go over the next slide. I thought, you know, it will make you say, what I have done is all the consonants and simple consonants with R sound and the vowels, I have used them and I have created a list of words which you can attempt to read. So that way you all will, you know, feel that, okay, now we are starting to read, you know, otherwise we are just stuck in the alphabet. I thought you will have that sense of some accomplishment. So I'm going to go through the first word, which I've put here. It's a, ha, and there's a dot at the top, which is the anuswara. So it's aham. I think all of you can practice aham. Because aham is a very important word in Sanskrit, even from Vedanta philosophy. The concept of I. It's not ahamkara, it's the ego. Aham, whenever we refer to ourselves, we refer to ourselves as aham, I. It's the same mantra, you know, soham. Soham actually it's a combination of two words. One is saha and the other one is aham. Okay, that becomes soham. So this aham is to know that I am divine. It's a very important word. A, ha, and anuswara. I thought I will spend a little bit of time on just on this word. I is the first letter of the alphabet. The last letter of the alphabet in Sanskrit is ha. So that the start and the end, that is aham. Because that is divinity itself. It's the adiyum antamum, as they will say. You know, the adi is the beginning and the end, ha. When both these are put together, that is this I principle. The next thing which I wanted to point out to you is the dot at the top. Whenever the dot is put, that is an energizing principle. It's called the bindu. Like in Omkaram, bindu samyuktam is said. Bindu is the divinity itself, Shiva itself. All creation comes from that bindu. In Tamil, they will say vindu also. You know, it's that is the seed for everything. So all mantras will be energized by that which is actually produced in the nasal cavity, which is supposed to be capable of vibrating the Sahasrara or the Ajna chakra. Okay, like Aim, Hreem, Shreem, Om, all these sounds are in every mantra. This is basically the generator of that energy. So this word aham, Swami will say, just meditate. I am God. Aham, so aham, saham. And that becomes Om. So when the Om, it comes into aham. That is the way this entire creation is formed. The beginning and the end. And the is the one which merges us back to God. Okay. So I thought I will just mention the word aham. What is your name means, you will say aham. I am, you know, also comes from that, I guess. Okay, so aham. The next word is ajaha. Okay, a is the first. The second letter is ja. And then we have what is called the visarga, the two colons, which is nothing but the echo of the a. Ajaha. Ajaha. Generally, people tend to pronounce that as ha, ajaha, which is not accurate, okay, not correct, because the colon is actually air going out. It's an echo of the a. Ajaha. Okay. Ajaha means goat. That's a simple meaning. It also has another meaning, which I thought I will mention, that which is not born. A means no. A usually has also meaning no, it does not exist. Jaha means to be born. That which is not born is also called Ajaha. So that is also another name for God. Okay. Ajaha. One who is never born. He does not have birth. Only God was never born. The Atma was never born. So Atma is Ajaha. Okay. The third word is the longer A. A, then la, ya, and the dot at the top is like alayam. So a temple is normally called alayam. A place of residence is also alayam. A home is also alayam. So alayam is used with many words, like, bhojanalayam bhojana means food. Alayam means a temple of food, means hotel is called bhojanalayam. Vidyalayam, vidya means education, alayam means the place where it is, okay, vidyalayam. Deva alayam, deva means God, alayam means the house of God, the home of God. So temple of God. So alayam is the word alayam. It also means, layam means merger. A means Atma. So merging in the Lord is the Alayam. So when we go to the temple, why we go to the Alayam is so that the Atma can merge with the Lord. Okay, so these are different meanings. I thought I would just touch on some of them, because sometimes we use these words without fully understanding what it is. But they are all, the sages who have produced these words have packed up so much meaning by just looking at when we say Alayam means when we go in, I am merging with the Lord. That's what we call Devalayam. Okay. The next word is, looking similar. It's E is the first letter. Ha is the second letter. Iha. Iha means, in very simple terms in English, here. Iha means here, in this place. Iha para. Iha means here. Para means there, outside. In this world and that next world. Iha also means in this world. Iha. E is the first letter. Ha is the second letter. Okay. Then we'll go to the fifth word. It is a E, the longer E. E, then the second letter is sh, palatal sh. Okay, the Isha ha. Isha ha means again God. Isha ha. The next word, the sixth word which I have is U is the first letter. The is the second letter. Ra is the third letter. U, the, ra. Udara. So I have given all the transliteration, so it should be easy for you to read here also. You can cheat a bit, it's okay. But as long as you become familiar with the words and the sounds. Udara. Udara means actually our stomach. Udara. Okay. The next word is the longer U and ha. You can see ha has the second letter ha. Here also second letter is ha. Ha. And aham also has the second letter as ha. Ha. Ha means to imagine. It also means a thought. Okay. Ha. Then the next word is, the first letter is R. R. Okay, it's a vowel R. Okay. The second letter is Ta. And then you have the anuswara on the top, which is M. R, Ta, M. Ritham. Ritham. See the transliteration, okay? R with a dot means it's a vowel. Ta and M. Ritham. Ritham is a type of truth. Truth has another word called Ritham. Ritham Vajjam, Na Anritham means falsehood. Okay. Swami always explains this Ritham means that which is in your heart, when it's expressed, that becomes Ritham. thought, word, and deed, Swami says. You don't know what is your thought and the word. When they are in consonance, when they are together, what you produce is called rhythm. What you speak is called rhythm. Okay, what is in your heart when you speak, that becomes rhythm. Okay. So God is also, Satyam is one which Satyam is that which is in all times it's the same, never changes. Whereas rhythm is what is in your heart, you speak is rhythm. Okay. Then we go to the next word, which is A, Ka, and Ekam. A, Ka, Ekam means one. Okay. God is Ekam. Ekam, Anekam. Anekam means opposite of Ekam. Okay. Or many. It's not even opposite of, it is not exactly the opposite. But Aneka means many, Eka means one. Some of those words we will come to later on. Eka means God who is one. Then the next word is Au, Sha, the Sha which with the tongue curved up. Sha, the, and Au, Sha, Dam. Au, Sha, Dam. Aushadam means medicine. Aushadam. Aushadam. Okay. Then the next word is Kara. Ka is the first. Here also Eka. Here also K. The first letter in the Ka varga. Ka and Ra. Kara means hand. Or to do. And there are verbs also. There is, I will come to those later. Kara means hand. Then you have the word Shankara, one who does good. There also Kara is used. Okay. The last word which I have is Kha and Ga. This is the second letter in the Ka varga. Ka. Okay. Kha, Ga. Kha, Ga. So this is the second and the third letter in the Ka varga. Khaga. Khaga. That it basically it means wind, sky, movement, things. There are various meanings for Khaga. Space also is another meaning, but for our purposes we can say it's wind. Khaga. Khaga. Okay. I thought I will just introduce. It's about 10:20. I'm very sorry today. Too many disruptions for the class. I will stop here and open it up for any questions you may have. I have a couple of compliments, I guess. I'm very, very sorry about today's interruptions. I hope you bear with me. If you have any questions, please unmute yourself and ask. Okay, Sister Vinodini, please go ahead and ask any questions you have.
Okay, so I was looking at when you combine these letters, do you put one straight line to combine on top?
Yes, sister. Yeah, there are some letters. See, in this, whatever I have chosen here, there's a straight line. In some cases, in some letters, you really do not draw the line above. When we come to that, I will show them to you. When we read more and more words, you will come across them. But for simple purposes, I would say, just take it as it's a straight line. I think I already mentioned Sanskrit, that line above is called Shiro Rekha. Shira means head, Rekha means line. So that in Sanskrit, the line at the top connects all the letters. It is also a reminder that God connects all of us. That is the thread which runs through everything. So that is one of the reason why that line has been introduced. What is written in our head is what drives us also, you see. So Shiro Rekha. Shira means head, Rekha. So in Sanskrit, that is Devanagari. The Shiro Rekha is a very important feature which reminds us for all these letters are strung together by the divine. Just the way this entire world is also strung together by the divine. Sometimes we forget, but remembering and recognizing that, hopefully whenever we see the line, we should remember that's God connecting us all. That's my understanding. I hope that answers your question, sister.
Thank you, Sairam.
Brother Tasan, you had a question.
Yes, Sairam, brother. So, and could you please explain the Ausadam again? How that words are combined together?
So the first one is Au. If you look at the vowel sheet, you will see Au. So I'm just going to go back to the template. Okay, 1 second. So the first letter is Au here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The second letter is Sh. So this letter, and the dot, not A, okay? Because the Sh itself is Ish and A, okay? Au, Sh, then I have, sorry, I missed. This is the third letter, and Okay, Aushadam.
Thank you, brother.
Okay, the first letter is Au, Sh, and the dot at the top. Aushadam.
Thank you.
If I have the board, I can write it and show you. I'm very sorry about today. We can do a bit more interactive sessions. Next week will not be the same. Okay, so I will stop here. Okay, I will ask Sister Vani. Please go ahead, ask your question.
Sairam, brother, can you please explain like the Ajaha and then there is no Ha? It's only the Visarga is there. So what's the difference?
Okay, it's very important. Okay, so I'm again showing the template here. I is the first letter. I think no confusions there. Then this is Ja, the third letter in the Cha Varga, Aja. Then the last one is Visarga, which is Ha, the 2 dots. Okay. This letter here is Ha. This is Visarga. They are not the same. Actually, they are not the same. Okay. The word Visarga means you give up. So you give up the air. When you say Ah, you let the air flow out. Okay. But it is not producing too much sound actually. But generally people say Ha. Like Ajaha. They will say, which is Ha. When I say with the throat, I'm producing a sound. We should not produce that sound. In counting of the matras, the Visarga does not have a count. Whereas this Ha, if you use, it's a count of 1. Like Ajaha means then it will become 3. Okay. See, Namaha. Namaha. Okay. Actually, that Ha does not have a count. Only Nama actually count. The last Ha actually should be just air. Okay. But generally, I think what has happened is when people try to explain to somebody, they will say Ajaha, then people repeat the word Ha. But ideally, once we understand it, we should know it is Visarga means just letting out of air. Ajaha. Ajaha. So it should be Ha rather than Ha. Okay. It's a subtle difference. People don't pay too much attention. But you need to know that Ajaha. The reality is when with Visarga, we should let go. Okay, that is the purpose. Visarjanam means, you're letting go anything in this world. Okay, so that is the difference. I just wanted you to be aware of it. Don't think that Visarga is this Ha. This is a proper consonant ha. Okay, this ha is combination of and ha. Whereas this is ha. It should be ideally ha. Okay, just air. Okay, that is the technical details, but you know, we can't say, oh, you are saying it wrong and all that. It becomes a problem. But I just wanted you to understand the difference and how the numbers are counted. Okay, that was my point.
Thank you, brother.
I think there were some questions posed here. Thank you. Anyone else? I think somebody raised hand, and I think.
Sairam, no, I just, Vimalesan, I just want to, you said, so Alayam, just the word Alayam means only a place, not a worship place. Is that correct?
See, in common usage, Alayam has come to means a space, a place. Okay.
Right.
In spiritual terms, every place is divinity is present. Okay, in the spiritual perspective, if you look at the word Alayam, because we should understand every sound is a mantra. And there is a verse which says, every sound is a mantra, every plant is a medicine, but the people find it difficult to find it. It requires effort to find the mantram in the letter. It's effort required to find the medicine in the plant. It's maybe one of these days I will show you the verse and explain. So the word Alayam, each letter also has a meaning. A has a meaning, La has a meaning, Ya has a meaning, has a meaning. So there I tried to say Alayam means where the Lord is merged. The Lord is present in it. Okay. So we may say, oh, in this place, oh, this is a place, this is a home or a place, but it is much more than the place.
As you said, every letter A means
so A means Atma.
Yeah.
Layam means
Jivatma.
No, it's Atman itself. So we merge in the Atman. Swami will explain Allah also same way meaning if you go, because Jivatman is only when we think we are different. So you are asking, the Jivatman itself is not mentioned, so you can say what merges with what, that's another question which will come. You merge in your own self. So if you say Jivatman, Paramatman, Atman is one. Jivatman is illusion to think that we are different. But Alayam is any place where we can merge. Anything can merge. So if you said Jivatman, yes, the Layam is basically Jivatman merging with the Paramatman. But I just wanted to say that we go to a temple because we want to merge with the Lord. Atman is there and we can merge, Layam. So that's why we go into the temple. That means when we enter the temple, actually we are merging into the Lord. So that is the way originally it came, but it has now. So people use Vidyalayam because it was also a temple of learning. Vaidyalayam means a temple of healing. It is how, you can say it's a commercial place, you go and get treated and come out. But you can enter. That's why when Swami built the super specialty hospital, when the architects brought the architecture, he said, I don't like this. He said, it has to be like a temple. When you enter a hospital, you need to say, I am going to a temple of healing. It should not be, you should not go with depression, I am so sick, I have come to this, why should I come to this hospital? That should not be the feeling. So that's why Swami said, I am establishing a Vaidyalayam, not a hospital. So the architecture should be different. So that's why I thought I would just introduce the concept of Alay. So in Sanatana Dharma tradition, everything is considered Alay. Swami says, in Bhojanalayam, we go and focus on the food. In the Vidyalayam, we go and focus on the Vidya. education. Vaidyalayam, we go and focus on the Vaidyam. But when we come to Devalayam, we don't focus on the Deva. We focus on something else, Swami says. So I thought I would just mention. Sorry, sometimes it's a tangential discussion, but I thought I will introduce some of these concepts whenever we encounter these words. Because Swami has explained these words, I thought I will just use the opportunity to remember what Swami has said, brother. Sorry, I hope I didn't talk too much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it so much, brother, because when you mention that Alyam now, we know everything with a conscious effort and with God's intentions in mind. We are considering any place as a sacred place because the intentions are pure and you have God in your heart. So now it all makes so much sense why with Sanskrit, it's opening our minds and hearts so much. That means that, when we cook in the kitchen, we have to, keep the sacred intentions and, giving the pious food and the pious thoughts and everything. Thank you for explaining. It's beautiful.
Thank you very much, sister. Thank you.
Sairam.
Saira. Someone else wanted to ask a question, or we have passed 10:35. It's a very long session today. I am sorry for the interruption, so I thought I would spend a little more time. If you all are okay, we can close. Next week will be much better, back to normal like the last week, the normal sessions. I think with those words we can close for today. With
Sairam?
Yes,
Sairam, brother.
yes,
I don't
yes,
know how to
Auntie.
thank you for not only teaching us these letters, but our doubts in so many other fields also. I really don't know how to thank you. Sairam, Sairam bless you always, brother.
Sairam,
Enlightening us on various. This is not a deviation from what we are learning. It is really, we have learned a lot. I have to say that. Thank you so much. Swami bless you.
Sairam. So we will close with Samastaloka and Shanti. Okay, Sairam. Oh. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sairam, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sairam.
Sairam, thank you.
Sairam, thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.